and welcome to another episode of the Music Lab podcast. I'm Mo.
And I'm Dowg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woot. All right, we're
Woot
back.
woot.
Yeah, and you know, this is crazy because it doesn't feel that long ago that we said this, but we are here to review a Jack White album.
Is this deja vu?
It really is because we just reviewed a Jack White album in April.
If he would have named this album Deja Vu, that would have been ironic.
It's good stuff. So anyway, we're reviewing the latest Jack White album, which just, it's following immediately after another one. It's like, it's like when you go down the slide when you're a kid and the other kid comes down before you even get off. That's like what's happening here.
Yeah.
So we recently reviewed that album in April. It's called Fear of the Dawn. All right, which was incidentally, again, released a couple months ago. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed that album. And I would say to all the listeners out there that haven't checked that one out yet, definitely do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But I remember the first time I heard Jack White. I was chilling in my then girlfriend's room. It was college years, watching MTV. Yes, back then they showed music videos. I know, it's weird.
That they did.
Yeah. Anyway, this video comes on for Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground. Yeah. And I was like, who the beep is that? I went out that very day and bought White Blood Cells. Before the week was out, I owned the White Stripes self-titled debut and De Stijl. I was a fan instantly. I am still a fan. I still get excited when I see that he is releasing new music. And so for me, releasing these back-to-back like this is super exciting. I like the songs he writes. I like his voice. I like the way he plays guitar. I like the way that he has a knack for finding just the right combination of sounds and styles to reel you in. And reel you in, he will.
To your point of having a second album within 2 months, or any artist that releases multiple albums in a year, there has to be a little bit sense of trepidation, and I felt a little bit a sense of trepidation, even though, deep down I knew that this was going to be at least a good album. Whether it was great or not, we'll let you know. But yeah, it does. It takes a lot of passion, a lot of pride to release multiple albums as an artist, like in a year. It doesn't happen very often, and usually it doesn't happen to success where both albums are as good.
Right.
Is that fair to say? Or
it is, and remembering, of course, too, that Jack White, this White Blood Cells thing happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, it was 20 years ago. It was
been
2002.
Yeah.
All right, when all this kind of went down for him and for me and for everybody, where he suddenly just rolled onto the scene and was like, rock and roll is back.
Yeah.
And so for me, the biggest thing that I take away from it is he's been doing it this long with this many different people, and he's still prolific enough in his writing that he can double bang albums in as many months.
And reinvent himself on each one. I
Right.
mean, this is completely different than
It is.
Fear of the Dawn.
It is.
And it's
It
a
is.
good segue
And we'll
to-
talk about that. So let's just get in it.
Dive in.
Yeah, I like it. So do you
pool
want to
is
go?
warm,
Do you
baby.
want to go first?
Yeah, let's
Why
do
don't
it.
you
Let's
go
do it.
first? You go first, so you can steal my lyric choices
Oh, no.
like
no,
you
no,
always do.
no. All right, so the first song of Jack White, Entering Heaven Alive, which, by the way, I think is a great album name.
It really is.
A Tip from You to Me, which, again, I think is a really, really solid opening song, just from a title standpoint as well. For me, this song was an immediate statement from Jack that this is an acoustic heavy and another showcase for his vocals. These songs throughout are just, he sings these songs so well. And I don't remember that being such a highlight for me in listening to his previous solo stuff, where I was like, man, his voice sounds really good. But like on this album, it really, really sounds good. And I think the songs lead that, as they do in, any other. But for me, this is a solid mid-tempo song where the piano drops in beautifully. And I love how he allows the harmony for when they sing, "Ooh, will I be alone tonight?" Just, it's so nice when he has that, that depth to that lyric, with the harmonies. But just a great song and a great opening song. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. Well, we feel very similarly about this song.
Okay.
This is Jack White doing what Jack White does best. It's a catchy, less than 3-minute tune with his signature unauto-tuned croon. And that was one of the things I really appreciate about his work still, is that it's slightly off at points. It's human. It's real. And so it's authentic. All right, but the verse is simple with this nice little piano lick underneath. But the real gem of this song lies in the beautifully harmonized chorus that you talked about, that has echoes of those 70s power rock ballad groups. It is a nice kickoff. It's smooth and it's pretty.
Yeah, well said. And I'm glad you said that it was under 3 minutes too, because that's important. Because you see that.
That's what he does.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Which then moves us and leads us to the next song, song 2 off side A, I guess. All Along the Way. An acoustic haunting ditty in the beginning that eventually layers and then thankfully morphs into this Stephen Marley jam rock-esque powerful bridge. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it is I would say the biggest diversion in any of the songs on this album. I mean, it is just remarkable. And then quietly returns to how the song started. And I like that they have a musical ending too, where he just lets the song, basically take off. My favorite lyrics, though, when you're not scared, you turn my fear to bravery. When the sunlight hits your hair, it's like the whole universe was made for me. Thank you, Mr. White.
Yeah.
What you got?
So, we say a lot of the same things. I feel like, you and I are kind of like, we've become like a married couple.
White. Well, especially with Jack White.
But we've become like a married couple where we start to get similar to each other because I think we start to look at things from each other's points of view. So this song rolls in with the type of wholesome arpeggiated guitar that made his early music really set itself apart from his peers. Jack is a versatile guitar player. Now, I like in this song how the bass comes in that second verse and starts to compete with the acoustic for the spotlight. It's an interesting little tug of war that's going on there. But with each passing verse/chorus, the song keeps building. And then finally, when all the instruments come in, there's like this surf guitar in the background that gives this song almost like a Quentin Tarantino movie feel. Did you get that?
That's an absolute great point. Oh, totally.
So this song to me, melodically, vocally, really reminded me of something that could have easily been on White Blood Cells. And I felt that way about a lot of songs in this project. White Blood Cells was a very unique offering, sandwiched between the bluesy rawness of the Steel and then a return to sort of that bluesy raw rock in Elephant. And so it kind of stuck in the middle as this quirky, because White Blood Cells it's quirky, it's eclectic. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Right. He does like a Neil Diamond tune on that album. Yeah. But with this album, I really felt very strongly that he was paying homage to that project. So, let me give you some lyrics that I liked. Yeah. All right. Who knows if I could find you in the dark when I'm old? You said, I'll be back before my coffee gets cold in your hand. So I'll do the best I can to follow you into the dark every day, and we'll say the things that lovers often do. There's a lot of stuff to unpack there, and this song, I'm still sort of unpacking what I think it's about, but I love this is the first song where he starts to allude to the lyrics of the former album. And he does that several times in this project where he goes back and he sort of like interweaves some main lyrical points that he made in Fear of the Dawn. And he's dropping them like little nuggets for people who have listened to the previous project.
Until the end of the album.
Well, which we don't have to talk about yet. Yeah. Yeah. Don't give it away yet
no,
now.
No. But like those nuggets lead to that. Which
They
I think
do.
is
And they do. They do.
So that leads us to the next song, Help Me Along. And we all need a little help these days. For me, this song has this nostalgic feel to it. And the piano, once again, is a highlight in this song. It has a Beatles and a kind of, don't laugh at me, I kind of felt like it had a little bit of a Monty Python kind of feel to it, you know?
It's so funny. I can't wait to hear what I said.
Jack pleading in his lyrics and his voice are a wonderful combination in this highlight on the album. I love the tension in the song, and the violin is also just gorgeous. A song made up of many sections that add up quite nicely, and Jack again allows the song the space it needs. Great song, though. What are your thoughts on this?
I swear, we really are. We're like tuned into stuff nowadays. So this song is like a straight up bomb dropping 1970s song. It sounds like a Three Dog Night song. It's beautifully sung. It's very melodic. And this is sort of like what John Lennon used to describe as Paul's granny music. And we've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah.
The piano and strings are a bit of a surprise. But even at the end, when he goes up high vocally, he doesn't bring in guitars. Yep. He just sort of sticks with that Engelbert Humperdinck instrument group that's already there. So it's almost like he's asking like this, just like little jazzy group to like rock as best they can, because that's what we got. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of was laughing while I was listening to it because for as absurd as this seemed on a Jack White album,
it just worked.
I still liked it.
Yeah.
I still liked it. I found myself enjoying it.
Somehow it fits into this album.
This album is it's all over the place. But this song is, it is. It's an homage. Just listen to it, check it out, and see what you think. Maybe you think I'm crazy, but I did. I laughed when I was listening to this because I thought this song is absurd, and it's and in all the best ways. Yeah. So yeah. All right.
Good shit. Good stuff.
Beep.
Yeah, babe.
Come on now.
Well, love is selfish, and sometimes that makes it happen.
It sure is.
That is the next song on this album, still on side A. Wow. Fantastic guitar playing, and such an honest song from Mr. White. There is a warmth to this song that I love as it meanders for just under 3 minutes. Again, like A Tip From You to Me, right? Mm-hmm. A real showcase for Jack himself on this album. And my favorite lyrics, which are very personal for me because I've had relationships in the past where I've pleaded quietly and silently these lyrics. So it's very, very personal.
No comment.
Love is such a selfish thing. It's always crying, me, me, me. And it's always trying to mess up all my plans. And I work real hard to make you understand. And I'll try my best to help you understand. It's, man, wow. So good.
Yeah, this song to me was reminiscent of Led Zeppelin. And I have felt that before with his music in the past, particularly on Elephant. But I can totally hear Robert Plant singing this song on LZ3 or Physical Graffiti. And in fact, there were portions of the guitar playing where I thought it sounded a lot like that instrumental from Physical Graffiti, Broniar. Do you know the one I'm talking
I
about?
do not know.
Just, it wasn't necessarily melodically like it, but just in the way that it was delivered. This song is simple, with little but him and the acoustic guitar. But his voice is so pretty, even when it cracks. And the little human errors in his guitar playing give this song an authenticity, that is sorely lacking in today's modern overproduced music. This is a fantastic song, brilliantly played. I loved the bridge, so here are the lyrics. Yeah. I'm on a train, but I cannot rest upon it. I'm on a train, but it won't stay on the rails. And I've got a sailboat with her name painted on it, but I don't know how to sail. This song is a good one. Yeah. So even if you don't listen to any of the rest of the album, check that tune out.
Well, you know, that's why we do this. My good friend Mo, you mentioned Led Zeppelin about Love is Selfish. Well, for their song, I've Got You Surrounded, Led Zeppelin came to mind for me in this song.
Interesting.
I absolutely love the drumming on this song. It is unique. This had to be so fun in the studio with this song. And I think Led Zeppelin would be proud. We finally hear electric guitar and Jack freaking out vocally and musically. The freakouts and the jazz interludes are placed fantastically, and they're just in spurts. So again, it's just spacing in these songs is so important. He does it so well. Again, a little bit of, mixing of the pot, and this, the chowder of all these varieties of songs, but this song is so good. It's so good. What you got for I've Got You Surrounded?
This song comes in all spooky.
Yeah.
And Doors like the band Doors, with drums and that thin, bendy guitar. And he almost whispers the first lyrics. Then he comes in with that high gain guitar before he gives you that echoed scream. I love how all over the place this tune is. It feels like it should be a remix of another song.
Or like the Q-Tip
song. But it's not. Yeah,
this is like the Q-Tip song.
It's not. And it's almost in the same spot.
Right, yeah.
It's jazzy and it's dirty.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on here. Yeah. And it is in direct contrast to the previous song. This song left me feeling kind of like, what was all that? Like, I was just like, is it a remix? Were you guys just like...
Definitely a headphones
Did
song.
you have a couple too much... a couple
late
whiskeys.
Night session. Yeah,
like what was going on with this tune?
Right.
And I did. I don't mean that to say I didn't like it, because I did. Yeah. And I really liked the jazziness of it. And it kind of felt like a Doors song a little bit in the background. But then just even the way he sang it, it just made it sound like it was something like a remix.
Yep.
I don't know.
Agree. Which leads us to Queen of the Bees.
And now for something completely different.
Another backroom, bluesy, jangly, slinky joint that again shines Jack's talent. And the keyboards and percussion are just wonderful in this song. It's so honest as he once again pleads and craves to a lover as he sings so well once again. My favorite lyrics, "Oh honey, can't you see? I want to hold you like a sloth hugs a tree. 'Cause I crave you like a glass needs wine, but I'm worried that I'm wasting your time." Shout out to KB because she loves sloths.
Yeah, sloths are fun.
But yeah, What are your thoughts on this song? I'm interested to hear
this is another period style piece here. Because he's throwing that all over this album. I could almost hear Mama Cass singing this song, if you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah.
Jack's voice has almost a cabaret feel. This song is 2.5 minutes long, and I cannot get the melody out of my head. It's a real earworm, but in a good way. It's fun, Jack, and I like fun, Jack. So lyrically, 'cause I love you like my mother loves me. I want to hold you like an ant climbs a tree. Let's take a stroll to the end of the street. I'm a fly on the wall, and you're the queen of the bees.
So good. That's why I said it was like slinky, kind of had like this jangly. Yeah, it is.
It's a throwback. It's a good one, too. Yeah. Awesome.
Which leads us to A Tree on Fire Within.
A Tree on Fire from Within.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
My apologies. Tree on Fire from Within. The foundation of piano and bass with consistent drumming sets this song apart from the rest of the album. Yet it still flows like the rest of the songs. It's probably my least favorite of the album, and that is saying something. Although I love how the piano leads and the bass follows. But yeah, this song just didn't have that memorable quality to me like all of the other songs. What are your thoughts on
That's
this?
so interesting because this is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but we also judged it the same. So to me, the piano and the bass come in groovy. But with this song, he does something really neat here, and the average ear doesn't pick up on it right away because the bass takes the place of the typical phrasing guitar. So the bass is doing sort of that guitar phrasing that would normally happen from a 6-string guitar. And so the bass is really out front. But Jack's voice is a force again in this song. But yet it's at the same time, it's so understated. In the good old days, he would have given us a verse up the octave. But nowadays, he just sticks to the plan and delivers the melody and does it well. I like what he used to do, but I like this new Jack too. This is the type of song that is so signature for him that I can't even really hear anyone else doing it. So lyrically, and violet roses give such a scent, and it doesn't matter how long it's been. Even a dead rose is a good rose. You only have to see one to know, like a tree on fire from within. I like that song. Yeah. I mean, I understand there's so many good songs on here. You have to choose one that you don't like as much, but I really like that tune.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. That's why we do this, my
Subjective.
friend. Subjective.
Indeed.
So that leads us to the single off the album, If I Die Tomorrow. Our second song on the album features an electric guitar and mellotron that hangs over the song to give it that effect. This is a fantastic song, and I love how he places harmonies in key spots in the song. The subdued drumming keeps the pace and allows the slowdown toward the end as he reflectively sings after the bridge with the brief guitar solo with effects. And I meant the second song on the album that features electric guitars. So I might have that came off wrong.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on this song?
So, even just looking at the name of the song, and then when I heard it come in, I thought to myself, is this going to be like a new James Bond movie? You know how he's done a James Bond theme? Mm-hmm. Anyway, the song opens up acoustically with like this warbly string in the background, and apparently that was the mellotron. Mm-hmm. Jack comes in with his continuous lyrical delivery, but he really gives this song juice in that sort of fantastic bridge. The solo section is filled with interesting MIDI sounds, and the song gets sparse again and then builds back up to end it out. The verse progression and instrumentation are reminiscent of a Blind Melon song to me.
Nice.
So lyrically, if I die tomorrow, will you let me know I left in peace? I begged and I borrowed everybody's love, and they gave for free. And I wish that I could give it back to them. So if I die tomorrow, will you give them all the love they lent to me? What an interesting lyric. That's interesting.
Yeah. Very introspective. All right, so our next song on this great album, Please God, Don't Tell Anyone. I mean, that can be,
There it is. Do you need to
just
say
spun
anything
in
else?
so
Yeah.
many different ways from so many different people in so many different situations, whether they're good or bad,
Indeed. And it does.
This is a country song at heart, sung in classic Jack White fashion, that pleads lyrics differently off the same theme. It's another fantastic piano during the bridge as he sings, Please God, don't tell anyone. I was providing, not just having fun. It's like he's, trying to justify his actions, throughout the entire song. It's such a good song. I really, really, the song is much better than Trio Part 10. What do you got?
So it has that sparse acoustic intro. And then it comes in with the piano and organ. And I really love the honky-tonk piano solo. Vocally, he goes up the octave this time at the end. Right on cue for old Jack. This song is an interesting call and answer between a father and son, begging the Lord to forgive each other. The lyrics can be powerful, and the lyrical mode he uses is unique and compelling. This used to be the type of song he always used to end albums with. This is a good tune. So lyrically, I'm going to piggyback on what you did.
Yeah.
Please God, don't tell anyone. I was providing, not just having fun. Well, my boy started screaming, so I started stealing. And my daughter was crying, so I started lying. My baby was sobbing, so I started robbing with a gun. Please God, don't tell anyone. It's like he just has this way of sort of like digging underneath stuff.
Yeah.
And like digging up all the dirt of who we are. I really enjoyed that tune.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So, a madman from Manhattan. Let's say that 3 times. Oh, man. That bass line in this song. This song gives me a black and white video with a man smoking in a back alley in Detroit kind of vibe. Does it give that to you?
In Detroit, but it says Manhattan.
Oh, I know. But he's from Detroit.
I know. I'm joking. I'm poking.
I feel, too, like this has a little Van Morrison kind of vibe to it, feel to it. And then between verse 2 and verse 3, the drums take over and carry the song the rest of the way. I also love the musical transitions that are sometimes caused by the drums and also by the acoustic guitar. It's well done. Yeah, it's an understated song, but it's very powerful. What are your thoughts on this?
So I found it has a groovy little intro, but when the drums come in popping, you feel it. There's all kinds of like really cool transitions between all the different sections. So like if you're paying attention to that sort of thing, he almost talks through the lyrics, but he has we talked about this on the last review. He has a song like this on every album he does. That sort of, I'm not really singing, I'm kind of talking song. But there's this really cool breakdown about 145, which I assume was meant to be like a bridge or a chorus section. And it lasts over a minute before the song continues on that droning, versy section until the end. And I have to be honest, when I first listened to this track, I didn't like it that much. but it grew on me after repeated listenings, especially lyrically. So I'm going to offer up. And then, of course, an angel comes to him and sings. She swims under whiskey with her wings. And from the inside of a bottle with a shaft of light, she tells him with a song that is not right. Yeah, that's Jack White lyrics right there.
Yep, absolutely. That's. I'm glad you picked those lyrics. Which brings us to the last song.
Indeed.
On an 11-song album, what did we say? It was a little over
41 minutes,
just
something
under
like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So Mr. White brings us back to a song off Fear of the Dawn, Taking Me Back. And as we remember, that was a very schizophrenic, kind of manic song. Lots of guitar, just a barn burner, kind of a rocker. Well, this is a departure from that version. And saying that, I think, would be the understatement of the year. Don't you agree? This version is so dang good that I certainly didn't mind. The violin just dances in this song and is played tremendously as well as the piano once again. I mean, I cannot say enough how well I enjoyed the piano as an instrument as part of like songs on an album. I mean, wow, like really, like just a well done.
Well, he doesn't overproduce things.
You think that's the main reason?
And that really is. Yeah,
Okay.
like when he puts it in there, it's in there.
Yeah, and it's there's a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
It's not just like filling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not trying to sonically fill your ears. He's trying to give you different things, like tastes that stick out to you.
Yeah. To close this album, too, is a pointed statement. I also love how he ends the song with how the original version begins. Did you notice that? Again, to his confidence and like his pride that to put on this song to end this album of so many great songs, to revisit a song, from the previous album that, like you said, was only 2 months ago. I don't want to say it's a surprise because that doesn't surprise me from him, but it surprises me the departure from the original and I guess the placement too of ending the album that way. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as you said, this is a throwback version of a track from Fear of the Dawn. And, if you're paying attention lyrically throughout this project, you can hear those hints coming up. And we talked about this a little earlier in the review. That you can kind of see them popping up. And then this is the moment in the album where he full on says, okay, we're revisiting something here, but we're going to do it in a totally new way. This version kind of sums up the differences between those two projects, separated by mere months in their release. The violin, like you said, is nice. And the groove and the piano give it almost a ragtime feel. The solo part is particularly fun, especially the piano solo that's followed by that neat little climb section. I can almost see the Flappers kick dancing to this. Like, it came out of left field and you're just like, okay, Jack, like, there it is, man. This is you. You be you. And that's kind of where it ends up.
Yep.
It's just Jack being Jack. And that's really what this album is.
Yeah.
So give us your final thoughts. What do you think overall of the project?
Well, I'm going to do my tracks first, and then I'll give.
Well, then let's both do our tracks.
Yeah, let's do our tracks first.
Right.
So my favorite tracks, and please God, don't tell anyone. This was difficult to really narrow down 3, but ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I did my best. My 3 favorite tracks were All Along the Way, Love is Selfish, and Please God, Don't Tell Anyone. But, I mean, I could have easily inserted 2 other songs into those other spots, and I would have been completely fine with that. How about you?
So I chose 4 songs. I guess I cheated.
Ooh.
But yeah, I
You
really
dirty
like.
dog, you.
Well, there's a lot of songs in this album. I'm not gonna- you know what? Whatever.
That's fine.
Love is
You do you,
selfish.
baby.
I do. Love is selfish.
Yep.
Queen of the Bees. A Tree on Fire from Within, and Please God Don't Tell Anyone. So we picked a lot of similar tracks. So what did you think overall of the project itself?
So this is a collection of songs that reminds me of that old saying my grandpappy used to say. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Your grandpappy stole that from Aristotle.
Oh, that's fine. Well, hey, if Pappy's going to steal
If
something,
he's going to
it
steal
better-
it from somebody, thank God it was that and not like the Three Stooges.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
all
Right.
Good man.
Or
Yeah.
Or the ShamWow guy.
Yeah, that's okay. I like ShamWow.
And this statement rings true, talking about the second studio album from Jack this year.
Mm-hmm.
These songs individually, notwithstanding a few, do not tell the story that this album as a whole accomplishes. It is well done. And again, as much as I had, and it sounds like more trepidation than you did about, a second album this year, he did it. Like, he did it and he mastered it. And this band, it's funny too, like the drummer, I watched their show from Fuji Rock this past weekend, Jack White's headlining show. And when you see this band that he's, worked with on these 2 albums, very animated, especially the drummer, stands a lot when he drums.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to not have, like, the drumming was not the focal point on this album. There were moments where it was, but I would not say overall where it was. And that's great because, like, in other album reviews that we've done and we've talked about, where, like Goose in particular, the studio album, you don't necessarily want to hear that when you hear it live. I want to hear more drums. I want to hear, like, the aggressiveness of those drums in a live setting. I didn't need to hear that in a studio setting, and I like that, and it's unfair to just speak about the drumming on this album, but for me in particular, that kind of what stood out because he is such a fantastic drummer live, and seeing them live just recently kind of like brought that out again. But what are your final thoughts?
Well, it's just to piggyback on what you said.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about Jack White is that he's more concerned about what serves the song. And he's so versatile in his playing that maybe he demands that from the people that he plays with. And also remembering, of course, too, that in a modern studio, just because he's playing with that guy live doesn't mean that that guy's the guy playing in the studio.
Right.
I mean, those could all be MIDI drums and you'd never even know anymore. And that's the thing. You can't tell.
Right.
So, as I said, in the final song review, this album was separated by the previous album by just a few months. It was April, all right? But these 2 projects could not be more different. With Jack's wraparound to give almost a Taking Me Back reprise, he was basically telling us that these projects were somehow linked or intended to be listened to as one. But whatever his thought process, it's another worthy effort. In all the ways that Fear the Dawn pushed the envelope and gave Jack White's music a more modern feel, this album was a tribute to both his past and music in general.
Nostalgia.
In some ways, this group of songs feel less like an album than Fear of the Dawn did. But don't let that keep you from checking it out. Because make no mistake, there are some really good tunes here. This album is earthy and authentic. And the 2 projects judged together prove what I have long felt about Jack White. He is versatile as both a player and a writer. He thinks of things that other people don't think of. And he is always giving homage to the sounds and styles that he grew up listening to. Jack White is an outstanding artist. If there was a Mount Rushmore of influential post 2000 musicians, he would be in the front. We are lucky to have him. Keep it coming, brother.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I think with these two albums, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, listen to this album before you listen to this album. Like,
No,
I think,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. And I think, again, that is a testament to...
Yeah, because it's like either taking me back, brings you back around again, or it dips you into the next album to say, or to the previous album to say, oh, check this out.
Yeah.
It gives you that little slice of like a little taste.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
Or it depends on the mood too.
Yeah.
You're in, you know.
and those are very different moods.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, Fear of the Dawn is a much more, like we talked about at the time, industrial rock feel.
Yeah.
A modern rock feel. This is a lot more earthy, a lot more
Subdued.
rootsy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, there it is.
Excellent.
So let us know what you think
Yeah.
about Jack White's newest album, Entering Heaven Alive. Give us some comments on social media or YouTube. Let us know what you think of the album. Let us know what you think about Fear of the Dawn if you haven't heard of it. And if you haven't heard it, go listen to both albums because they're so good.
And listen to our review of Fear of the Dawn.
Exactly, because we have that review as well. But if you don't mind, click that subscribe button, click that like button, follow, all the good stuff that it takes for people to do what they're trying to do these days. We really do appreciate you listening, especially if you've made it to the end here. And, we'd like to maybe pass it down to some words from our sponsors here.
Yeah.
But then, as always, we'd like to offer you peace and one love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Raw Outfitters, we are an independent, family-owned clothing company for all ages. Check out our inventory of shirts and hoodies at www.rawoutfitters.com and follow our social media pages. Don't just wear,